Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Russ. If you're thinking about starting your own brand or you already have your own brand, you definitely want to stay tuned to hear 7 things that I wish I knew before I started my brand. That way you guys can avoid certain mistakes, so you're more prepared when you actually jump in the game, or know how to navigate as you are already in the game. One of my first and biggest mistakes was ordering way too much inventory for my first drop. So my first drop, as some of you know, was sweatsuit fall winter set. 9 times out of 10 for people just starting out, like, your first drop is probably going to be your worst drop. Some people come out swinging for the fucking fences, but at the time I felt like my design was fire and like, oh yeah, like I can do anything. I kind of came into the business with a big head, just thinking like I'm gonna hit the ground running, and as soon as these pieces drop, they're gone. This is before I've even really marketed anything. So I'm not really expecting the difficulty to be as difficult as it was. And that was the incorrect way to kind of go about things, because one thing that entrepreneurship will do to you is humble you. So boom, I ordered 300 pieces. Big mistake. If you think 300 pieces, and let's say I got charged $30, or I can't remember exactly what I charged. Let's just say $30, just for an example. 30 times 300, that's what, 9,000? Yeah, that's $9,000. So I was already, before I sold a single piece, I was in the whole 9,000 already. And this don't even include, all the other costs of owning a brand. Please, for those of you out there, don't do this. Don't order hella inventory thinking it's gonna be smooth sailing. Start small. I wish I would have started small, because it'll help me snowball even faster later on. If I started small, there's a good chance I could have been further ahead now. What they call MOQ, it stands for minimum order quantity. So basically, when you go to a manufacturer and you ask what's your MOQ, they're gonna tell you the minimum amount of pieces they can make for you for your bulk order. Some people it might be 50, some people might be 100, some people might be 75. It just depends on the manufacturer. The second thing that I wish I knew before I started my brand is that friends and family aren't going to be your number one customers. Of course, when everybody starts business, when anybody's doing anything, of course you want to tell your friends and family, because you feel like they're there for you to support you and, not hold your hand, but, boost you up, make you feel good about what you're doing and everything, which is still true. Your friends and family should do that. But what I'm saying is, you shouldn't have an expectation for your friends and family to be your best customers, because at the end of the day, when you're making a clothing brand or you're selling any product at all, you want to target a specific audience. So, for example, if you make Ken Carson type dark, grungy streetwear, you're not going to be wanting to sell that to a 40-year-old woman who does Pilates, like, that's just not your audience. So you can't really be mad if your Uncle Bob, Uncle Billy, who lives in fucking Idaho and is on the farm, doesn't want to buy your fucking flared jeans, and that's okay. There's millions and billions of other people who could be your target audience. As long as the people around you are encouraging you and rooting you on and cheering you on, that's all you need. Okay, number 3 is going to be make sure you have a winning product, right? So, circling back to what I said about ordering too much inventory at the beginning, once in a blue moon, somebody might go crazy for their first drop and sell out and go viral, The shit that you see online that makes you want to start a clothing brand is not the shit that happens 90% of the time. If you have a shit product, no matter how much you market, advertise, spend money on promotion, the product already has limited potential just based on that nobody really likes it organically. Of course, if you do enough ads and enough promotions, you're probably going to get a certain amount of sales. I mean, it's inevitable, like, there's billions of people on the planet, but at the same time, if you have a viral product, it's going to sell itself. The better your product is, the less money you have to spend on marketing and advertising, because people naturally like the product. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of experienced this with my Blah Blah Tee drop. So if you haven't heard of, or you don't know what I'm talking about, just check out my IG, link in the description somewhere if you just want to check it out. But the Blah Blah Tee drop went viral organically. So when I did put money behind it, it went even more crazy, rather than me being forced to put money behind something that isn't really liked to begin with. You know what I'm saying? So you'll know when you have a winning product, right? You know when it's something genuine that people like, because you'll have people asking you about it before it's out or when it's dropping. You'll have people sharing it. People really give you real feedback, like, yo, bro, I'm not playing with you. Like, this is the hardest shirt I've seen in a minute. Like, when you get compliments like that, that's how you can kind of get an idea, like, okay, I have a good product. But also, you want to have a good, solid foundation of people around you that you can share ideas with, and that will actually tell you what's up. Like, yo, this is kind of ass, or yo, this is fine. Like, you need to push this. Like, just having that kind of group around you also helps. But you can also do testing on your social media pages too, like just posting it, sneak peeks, getting people's opinions. Now that will lead me into number 4, which is I wish that I knew how important content was before jumping into the game, because I feel like I would have planned a lot better. So I will say posting content, high quality content, is so important, because some people are so inconsistent. And I feel like that should be part of it, because of course we know like posting content is pretty much the only way you're gonna sell online. So yeah, post content. But being consistent with the content and the quality of the content is the puzzle piece that matches hand in hand with the winning product, right? If you have a winning product and you don't market it, nobody's gonna know about it. If you have a shit product and market the hell out of it, a lot of people are gonna know about it, but they just might not buy. But if you have a great product and you're consistent in your marketing, it goes hand in hand, right? See, in the past, I used to just wake up and like think of a content idea that day and record it that day and edit it that day and post it that day. But it got to the point where like I was kind of scrambling too much, right? So I feel like I was rushing the content. It wasn't planned enough, so the quality wasn't the best. And it just put me in a never-ending cycle of like always chasing the content. Use a couple hours out of a day to just brainstorm content ideas and look for content ideas. And then if you want to get even more crazy, you can batch content. That way you don't have to record something every single day and you can focus on other parts of the business, right? Number 5 on the things I wish I knew before starting my brand was how early in advance I need to plan out my drops, right? So of course, going into the game, I didn't realize how long it would take for production and marketing and setting everything up and getting everything, just the whole process ready. It's not an overnight process. Like, it takes months. You have to account for mistakes and delays, because if you don't, then when mistakes and delays do happen, now you're behind. So you kind of plan for nothing. So make sure you guys account for like any holdups or delays. So if you want to drop a product, I would account for at least 4 months. Like 4 months is a decent time. But if you can do even longer, that's better. All I'm saying is just be prepared way in advance than what you are assuming to be, because what you assume to be is basically just gonna make it, just gonna squeak by, if everything goes perfectly. But everything doesn't always go perfectly, I'm telling you. So make sure you account for enough time in production process, but also plan out your drops more, right? So a lot of people just make random things, throw something together. Oh, I got a product. All right, let me get a sample, and now let me make the bulk. Like, there's no type of structure or planning to what you're doing. You're kind of just doing stuff. So if you can actually find a purpose behind the product, it would make it a lot more easy to sell too, because you have a purpose and a vision behind the product. It wasn't just something thrown away. It's not just a logo slapped on the shirt. Really sit down and focus on creating a good product, because at the end of the day, the product is what's going to make you money. So you got to focus on it and focus on your drops and how you're going to do everything. Make sure you have all the right materials. Make sure your website is set up correctly. Make sure, little things that you might not think of. Like, everybody's just thinking about the clothes. Like, you're not thinking about your website. You're not thinking about what influencers am I going to send my products to that can help me promote my products. What type of marketing am I going to do? What content have planned out for this drop? It's a lot of different pieces that go into selling clothes. All right, the 6th thing I wish I knew before I started my clothing brand was that it's not a get rich quick scheme. So especially when you're young and you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, I think they call it shiny object syndrome, right? So there's so many different businesses that look good. So many people flashing money. Oh, what do they do? Oh, what do they do? Oh, they got a clothing brand. Oh, what do they do? Oh, they trade stocks. Like, there's so many different things that, sometimes it blurs your vision, and it just makes you want to pick, the thing that you might think get the most money the fastest, like, instead of actually just doing something that you like. But either way, some people just want to do business for money, which is okay. I'm not down in that, because at the end of the day, the business is to make money, whether you like it or not. But I definitely think the internet portrays the clothing brand business as, highly successful, highly profitable. Honestly, the clothing brand business is probably one of the least profitable, least successful businesses to start, especially for beginners, because it's like I said in the first point was ordering too much inventory and having dead inventory. You invest thousands of dollars up front with no absolute guarantee of even breaking even. There's a good chance that some people lose money in this game. Like, I've lost money on a drop before, like I was saying. So for the drops that do good, and when you feel like you're in a rhythm of things, you're gonna have the urge to like fuck off money, like spend and do shit because you feel like you got money. But if you don't invest any more money than you already are investing into your brand, you're always gonna stay on the same level. In order to grow, you're obviously going to need to invest more money into your business. But if you're spending that money that the business is making, you have no extra money to invest. Therefore, you're going to remain stagnant. The clothing brand business is also one of the most inconsistent businesses, because you can have a viral sold out drop one month, right? But then the next month, people not really fucking with what you're dropping. So the next month, you might sell half as much as you did the month before, but you coming in with the mindset thinking, oh, I'm finna double this. Oh, I'm finna at least make this amount, but like, you really don't know. Last but not least, this also goes hand in hand with the last point that I made. I wish I knew how much of an investment that this type of business actually was, right? A lot of people just assume, okay, I just need money to invest in my clothes and my designs. Yeah, you need that money, but what about opening up your website, designing your website? What about marketing materials like bags, poly mailers, stickers, gift cards, thank you cards? What about labels? What about a label printer? What about, a desk, maybe a workstation? What about marketing? What about ads? What about tax? By the time you account for all that, what, you got $5 in your pocket? Like, not literally, but you know what I mean? Like, come on, lock in. The more you want to grow, the more money you have to use to push your brand out more, because organically, you can only reach so many people in a certain amount of time. But if you want to scale, eventually you're going to have to put money behind your brand. You're going to have to pay people to promote. You're going to have to pay for ads. So don't be afraid to spend money on your brand. It's for a good cause. At the end of the day, you're spending it on yourself. So yeah, that was 7 things I wish I knew before I started my clothing brand. I hope you can at least take one thing of advice from this video, even if it wasn't the best. But I appreciate everybody who's stayed here thus far for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, check down in the comments or in the description to check out my brand and my IG page, so you guys can actually be in tune to what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. And maybe you can catch some fire drops. So definitely got a fall collection on the way. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.